Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 16th of April. Reading through the Psalms with Robert Murray McShane's reading scheme, we read Psalm 25 today, a psalm of David. And it begins, "In you, Lord my God, I put my trust." David saying this is where his trust is. And then down in verse 12, he says, "Who then are those who fear the Lord? He will instruct them in the ways they should choose. They will spend their days in prosperity, and their descendants will inherit the land." And here you have this wonderful picture of people listening to God, walking in God's ways, being instructed by God, and spending their days in prosperity. And not only them, but it gets passed on to their descendants as well. This wonderful picture of blessing. So it would be very easy to just say, well, clearly, if you're a Christian, this is what your life will be like. But if we keep reading, it's not quite that straightforward, because in verse 16, David says, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. Relieve the troubles of my heart and set me free from my anguish. Look on my affliction and my distress and take away all my sins. See how numerous are my enemies and how fiercely they hate me." And as I read that, I thought, that's not a picture of prosperity. Saying, I'm lonely and afflicted, my heart is troubled, I've got anguish, affliction and distress, I've got enemies, all of these things piling up against me. And David crying out to God for help. He continues, "Guard my life and rescue me. Do not let me be put to shame, for I take refuge in you." So here is David experiencing the suffering and the challenge that he describes here, and putting his trust in God, taking refuge in him. And he does this because he knows that God will deliver him. It might not have happened just yet, but God is on his side. God will answer him. God will lead him. He will instruct him in the ways he should choose, and he will end up with the prosperity of God. And for me, that's a great encouragement, but that we might not experience that in its full now. And this is no guarantee that your life will be plain sailing and easy. And that certainly is the common experience. There's all sorts of challenges in life. And just as you get over one hill, there's some other issue, and you deal with that crisis and something else crops up. That's how life goes. And you don't step back and say, well, God's clearly not delivering. God's not on my side. God's not true to his word. We rely on God's word and say, in the midst of my struggle, Lord, while I'm going through all of this, while I have enemies and I'm afflicted, etc., guard my life and rescue me, for I take refuge in you. And we echo David, and we know that David, despite all the convolutions of his life, ultimately knew God's blessing. And he could be referred to after the fact as a man after God's own heart. And that surely must be the greatest blessing. That must be the greatest prosperity you can have, that you are a person after God's heart, irrespective of what the rest of your life looks like, how much you've got or haven't got. And we need to pray as Christians, Lord, make us people after your heart, and we put our trust in you. Be blessed.